Hi kids, I know you are waiting for the second part of the Hotel Flamingo Life in Lockdown story by Alex Milway, and I am here again with the second part. So let's begin from where we have left yesterday. Run Day. Madame Le Pig stormed into Anna's office. "I have just put in an order for food," said Madame Le Pig, shaking a wooden spoon above her head, "but there is nothing to buy." "What?" said Anna. "It's all gone," cried Madame Le Pig. "The shops are empty." Anna couldn't believe her ears. "Do you have anything left?" asked Anna. "Of course I have some things left. What do you take me for?" snapped Madame Le Pig. "I run a restaurant, the greatest on Animal Boulevard, but we won't last long with things as they are." "Okay," said Ona. "What do you have?" "I have enough flour for 6 months, but hardly any yeast," she said. "Do you need yeast?" asked Ona, not knowing much about baking. "Do you need bread?" snorted Madame Le Pig. Anna loved bread. "Yes," she admitted. "What else?" "Pumpkins, tins of beans and dried things, and also some fruit," added Madame Le Pig. "But all the fresh food will be rotten within a week, especially if there is no one to eat it. It is a horrible waste." "Then we need to be clever," said Ona. "In the kitchen I am the cleverest," snorted Madame Le Pig. "Indeed," said Ona. "Leave it with me." Madame Le Pig stormed out of the office, steam rising from her head. "Everything all right, miss?" asked Tibia. "Not really," said Ona. "I feel a bit lost." "So do I," he said. "But remember, everyone's going through the same thing. At least we have all got each other." Ona agreed. "I am so lucky to have all you," she said. "It must be awful to be alone at times like these." "Quite, miss," said T-Bear. At that very moment the phone on the front desk rang, and they heard Lemmy's voice as he answered. "Yes," he said. "No, unfortunately, we are closed at the minute." "Can you speak with the manager?" "I suppose so." Lemmy's head peered through the office door. He struggled and pointed to Anna's phone. "Sounds important," he said. "I will put it through." Anna picked up the phone and was amazed to find that she recognized the voice on the other end of the line. "Is that Anna Dupont?" said King Valentine Penguin. "We are having an absolute bonder of a day over here at the palace, and could really do with some help." Ona covered the mouthpiece so he couldn't hear her. "It's the king!" she whispered excitedly. Tibia snapped to attention and Lemmy's jaw dropped in shock. "Of course," said Ona, removing her hand. "How can we help? My darling wife Julita is absolutely out of squid scones. Barely a crumb left, and she's turning half yellow with worry," said the king. "This soggy bottom of a lockdown has left us in a complete mess." "But we are closed," said Ona sadly. "You can't come to eat here at the minute." "Oh, I know that," said the king. "Such a bothersome problem it must be for you too. But no, I was actually hoping you might be able to deliver some of the little wonders to us. We could do it all distanced. I'm sure if your chef might be able to cook us some." "Your Highness," she said, "it would be a pleasure. I will see what I can do." "Absolutely whiz bang!" exclaimed the king. "I will be in touch. The queen will be overjoyed." Ona put the phone down and a smile widened on her face. "I have got a brilliant idea," she said, and she ran off to speak with Madame Le Pig. Chapter 4. Problems and Solutions. Madame Le Pig's face turned the darkest shade of red. "My restaurant is not a takeaway," she said. waving her torters in the air furiously. I am a top class chef serving food to the most respectable clientele on Animal Boulevard, and you will be out of a job soon if you don't think and act quickly, said Ona. Madame Le Pig was wise enough to know that she needed her job. You want me to make my squid scones and post them to the king and queen penguin? She asked. And that's just the beginning, said Ona. You could also make other meals using the food you do have. We could sell my delicious prize winning bread, said Le Pig. Loaves, buttons, nut rolls. But what about the yeast? Asked Ona. There is a way, said Madame Le Pig mysteriously. It is magical and not without difficulty. But Madame Le Pig will overcome this problem. Ona was excited to see the results. Then that's what we will do, said Ona. Leave it to me, said Madame Le Pig, and she rolled up her sleeves. Squid scones coming up. And I will need to find some delivery people, said Ona. Lemmy had fallen asleep on the front desk. There was next to nothing for him to do without any guests, so Anna didn't mind. Everyone had their own way of dealing with change and stress, after all, but now she needed his help. Lemmy, she asked, gently waiting a few seconds. Lemmy, she asked again, slightly louder but still with no response. Eventually, Anna chimed the desk bell. Guests! Cried Lemmy, launching into the air. Sadly not, said Ona. But I may have a job for you. Lemmy rubbed his eyes. Ready for action? He said, still half asleep. Do you have a bicycle? Asked Ona. I don't, said Lemmy, but I know someone who does. My little brother Bobby. Why do you need it? So, said Ona, explaining her story of how the hotel was going to set up a food delivery service. She talked through everything she had planned. Why don't we ask Bobby to be our delivery boy? Lemmy said. He wouldn't need to come into the hotel. We just find a way of passing the food to him safely. Do you think he would do it? Asked Ona. He loves my reason to be on his bike, said Lemmy. Ona wanted to hug Lemmy, but she knew she wasn't allowed. It made her feel sad, and she forced herself to take a step backwards to make things easier. Give him a call, said Ona. Right away, said Lemmy. T-Bear stood outside on the terrace watching the flamingo rehearsing. They were putting on a quiet show full of balletic dancing and high kicking, but it wasn't cheering him up. T-Bear hated to see the hotel without guests. He was feeling desperately sad about lockdown, more so than any other member of staff. Come and join in, darling, said Miss Fragranti. She stepped away from her trope and swept her large wing around T-Bear's shoulders. Oh no, he grumbled. T-Bears really didn't feel like acting, dancing, or singing. In fact, he wondered if he could ever be happy again. At least, not until guests had returned to the hotel. Miss Fragranti, however, was very persuasive. Dancing and singing are good for the soul, she said, clutching T-Bear's paw. Miss Fragranti directed her flamingos to break into song. It was a rousing number, all about the color pink. T-Bear looked terribly out of place. I'm not sure about this, he said gruffly. I bet you have a beautiful deep voice, said Miss Fragranti, passing him a script with all the words. She pointed to a line, that's your part, with a gushing smile. Miss Fragranti sang out at the top of her range. T-Bear flushed pink with embarrassment. You can do it, darling, cried Miss Fragranti. T-Bear followed the lyrics but felt his chest tighten with nerves as the flamingos sang around him. Pink is a color that sings to me, a wonderful tear for eyes to me. No grays tomorrow, no blues today. The happiest pink are here to stay. T-Bear felt a tap on the shoulder. It was his turn. He opened his mouth, but his voice faltered. You can do it, cried Miss Fragranty. T-Bear clenched his paws. He took a deep breath and finally his voice appeared. I love pink, he sang with a rich tone, as warm as a hot chocolate on a cold winter night. I love pink. When my heart does sing, I think of pink. Wonderful, cried Miss Fragranty. I knew you could do it. With the flamingos belting out the tune, T-Bear quickly forgot all about his nerves. He even started to enjoy it. The song carried on for 3 more verses, and when they finished, they were all surprised to hear clapping from a window high up on the top floor of the hotel. Mrs. Cheffington was cheering them on from the royal suite. Tea-beers and flamingos took a bow, an audience, said Miss Fragranty, throwing her wings up into the air. I think that's enough for tonight, and I will read next chapter tomorrow. Have good sleep and don't forget to listen the next part tomorrow night. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new here. Thank you. Bye bye.